back, everybody. It is December 13th, at least that is the day you are watching this video, and today I thought I would take you along with us to recap us going to the NFB, the National Federation of the Blind of Oregon's convention. We attended this convention Friday, November 12th through Sunday, November 14th. I kind of debated on how I was going to do this video, but I think instead of just taking you throughout the whole thing, I would talk more about what is specific to going to a convention like this as a visually impaired person, things I dealt with as a visually impaired person, and how I overcame things that I would have had with my minimal sight, and just maybe some of the problems I had. I'm going to go through what I brought, what I forgot to bring, what I should have brought, things like that, and just kind of take you on the perspective of a blind person going to a convention like this. So to start off with everything, the National Federation of the Blind of Oregon did have protocols in place for COVID restrictions, so everybody attending had to either be fully vaccinated and show their vaccination card or have a negative COVID test no more than 3 days prior to the event. Everybody was required to wear masks and social distance as much as we can, and we did that and felt pretty safe. And the local chapter decided to have some additional protocols or things we decided to do so that attendees could be more comfortable. So in addition to what the National Federation of the Blind of Oregon was already doing, we chose to allow everybody who was attending to have their own room so they would have a safe place to be without a mask on and to not have to worry about exposure. Some of the fun of going to a convention is rooming with somebody, maybe even somebody you don't know, but we felt for this purpose it was better for us to have our own room and be able to take our masks off and know that we were safe, because we had no idea who would be paired with and what they could have been exposed to and not exposed to, or safety and things like that. On a personal level, I actually chose not to eat in the dining room. I was not comfortable being around people who had their masks off, so I chose to eat all of my meals in my room. I did choose to do DoorDash or make my own meals that I brought with me because they had a refrigerator. So I ended up doing that as well for personal protocols, and I felt pretty safe. There was only about 25 people in person, so I actually got less exposure than I would like going to the grocery store. So it turned out great. We are almost 2 weeks out, and as far as I know, there has not been like a COVID outbreak, so that is awesome. But to start off this video, I thought I would just take you with me before we left on Friday, just showing you everything I was bringing, and then I want to jump to when we got to the hotel, and I'm gonna do a full recap and show you the video of where I put everything in my hotel room. I have my backpack and Bali's blanket for the car. I have my food bag, and I have my laptop and my water for today. Am I missing anything else? Oh yeah, the dog. Gotta bring the Bali. So I will grab her harness and all of her gear, and we will be on our way when our ride gets here. So this is the door, and on it you will see my orange food bowl bag. Over here, which is pretty nice, they have cubbies. So I've put her leash and her harness there along with my coat and then my clothes, but that's a really great spot to put it so that it's always in the same spot right when we get in the door. Over here is the bathroom, and I only wanted to show that I've already laid out my stuff. Over on this side is Bali's, so her bowls and her food and her medication and her measuring cup. And then over there is my stuff, but this way it's easily accessible. She's gonna eat and drink in the bathroom. since it's tile floors, and we'll have a towel underneath it. So over here is like the kitchenette area, but I'm not going to use the coffee pot or anything, but I kind of did this as like COVID station in a way. So I have disinfecting wipes themselves, a couple extra masks, which I'll have some KN95 masks as well to put here. These are my house keys from before, but then I also have a little bottle of hand sanitizer, kind of just COVID area. I've already put away my kitchen refrigerated stuff because I wanted to make sure that got refrigerated. Now just a little bit of storage area. There is like a desk with a TV on it, and there's a chair over there. I'm probably just gonna, you can see my lunch. I'm gonna grab a quick snack because I am hungry. And then the room here, I have my own room with my own bed, just one bed, which is fine. And then there's Bolly laying on her mat, her fleece mat, as a good girl. That'll probably be her spot. She is attached to the chair. I'm not sure, that chair's a rolling chair, but I think she'll be okay. One thing I did forget is a towel. I knew I was gonna forget something and I forgot a towel, but pretty minor. I'll just make sure she sits on her dog mat as she's drying off and just kind of keeping her to that one area, and she should be fine. So a couple other things I brought that were not in that particular video, along with like headphones and phone chargers and things like that. I did also bring an extra blanket for Bolly. It was actually in the car when that video was taken. I actually needed to go down to the car and get it. It was a leopard blanket. And it is just her typical blanket. So she did sleep with her typical blanket over that fleece mat. I also did bring a treat toy dispenser to allow her to roll it around on the floor and have some time just being off of her tie down. In that video, she was on a tie down and it was attached to the chair. She sleeps on a tie down at work, not at home, but I just always feel more comfortable bringing her on a tie down when I'm in a hotel room. If I'm gonna be more than like 2 nights, I will typically bring her crate if I have enough like space to bring it. So like when I have gone to the beach or to California, to other conventions, and we've had room, I've been able to put her crate in. There was no way we would have had room in the car with 4 people's stuff and Bolly's stuff. So there was definitely, it was not on my radar to bring her crate, but I have brought a travel crate with us, and she definitely enjoys sleeping in a travel crate more than she does normally. So I thought I would go into some of the things I have to do as a visually impaired person when I'm staying in a hotel. So a couple things I do is that the first thing I do is, in the previous video, you may have seen the orange bag that I was talking about. It hangs on my door. It is an orange drawstring bag that her travel bowls go into. We actually have 2 different size travel bowls, one small and one large, and this is the large one. When I'm traveling, I always carry a large and a small in this bag. The reason I do that is it is very bright in color, and what I do is I hang it on the outside of my door. I have it attached on the inside of my door. And what this does is, in a hallway full of doors, I know exactly which door is mine. Maybe not by sight right away, but I do know that when I come up to a door and my orange bag is hanging on the doorknob, then I know it's mine. If I'm like the first door on the left out of the elevator or something super simple like that, I won't use the bag. But if I'm down a hallway and there is a chance that I might have to go searching for my room and constantly feeling the numbers on the doors, then I will always put this orange bag on my doorknob. I attach it on the inside. That way nobody has a chance of taking the orange bag. And it just makes life a lot easier when traveling and having to find my door. Visually impaired people have different ways of doing this. Some people don't do anything, they just find it. Others will put strings or hair ties, or, I mean, You can get creative of what you need, some more tactile than others. It all depends, and this is just something that I've started doing and just have loved doing it, and it makes my life so much easier. A couple other things I do is in the elevator. Typically, if I'm with somebody the first time in the elevator, I will ask them how many buttons there are on the elevator, or if there's 2 rows of buttons, you know, which side I need to be on. I will also ask, like, what is the bottom one? So in this case, there were 4 buttons for 4 floors. The top one was floor number 1. The bottom one was floor number 1. So when going down to relieve Bali, I would always hit the bottom button. And when going to my room, I was on the 3rd floor, so I would hit the one down from the top. I did the same for counting when I had to go like to the 2nd floor and things like that. So I associate not necessarily what they say, because I'm not a Braille reader and I don't always see exactly what the numbers say depending on my eye strain and how tired I am. Sometimes I don't catch the numbers right away until I know what numbers they are. So it takes some time, and just being able to count physically the buttons helps a ton. And so I just get to know the numbers and how they're put on the elevator so that I can know exactly like what buttons to push. It's just something I do. It makes it a lot easier. I try to do that right from the start. If I've never traveled with somebody who was not fully sighted the first time getting to my room, so I don't know what I would do if I was like all by myself. I'm sure I'd figure it out. I'm sure I'd probably go ask the desk person to explain the numbering in the elevator. I'd figure out a way so that I could associate myself with the numbers on the buttons. So as a guide dog user, one of the first things I have to do is to find that garbage can outside. And I usually try to do this the very first relieving that I do with my guide. I've gotten into a routine where I basically fast my dog's water until I get to our hotel. I give her a large bowl of water right when we get there. So she's super thirsty. She'll super take a whole bunch. And then usually about an hour after we get there and we're all settled, then I will take her out knowing she has to go to the bathroom. And then I will go looking for a garbage can before I take off her harness. I'll kind of look around the front. There's typically one around the front doors somewhere. If there's an outside stairwell, I have found garbage cans there. It's just something I do even before I relieve her. In this particular case, I did have to go ask the front desk person where the garbage can was for me to put, you know, my dog's relieving in. They were like super nice, and it was the garbage can. I saw it was inside 2 double doors, but I wasn't sure if that's the one I should use. He was like super nice and was like, do you need me to pick it up? Or here if you need picking up. Things like that. Of course I didn't, but again, that's the first thing I do. And then when I found the garbage can, I go and relieve her. She has to go, so she's gonna go in the spot we pick. I try to pick a spot that is pretty centrally located. I know where it's at. We should have it all the time. I try to get her to go on asphalt, although that can sometimes be hit or miss. I've had hit or miss experience with that. So I just really like to try to get to know my area and where she's going to go so that I know when it's dark that I can go. If any way possible, I do like to try to get to a location when there's light outside so that I do have some of my vision to do this with. I did look at the aerial view of this hotel before we got there, so I had kind of an idea, but it looked very different than the way I was picturing it. So it's okay. We figured it out. Then when I'm at a convention like this, I also do like to just associate myself with the convention area itself. And I ended up doing this with one of the people I came with. We just kind of got to know it, and were able to go to things pretty easily from there. Now, some of the struggles I had. One of the struggles I had was how busy this hotel was. Even in COVID times, it was pretty busy, which meant there was a lot of car traffic. There was a lot of people traffic when trying to relieve Bali. Bali is a private reliever, and she definitely was not super keen on going to the bathroom while there was all this noise. And so that was kind of a struggle. Another struggle I had was finding the light switches in the room. I found some of them, but there were lamps that I was like, where is the light switch? And I ended up FaceTiming my daughter to be able to help me find the light switches. I'm sure I could have called downstairs and they would have helped me, but it was easier to just have my daughter help me with the light switches, and we did find them all, and then we were good from there. One of my other struggles I had, which was actually the last day, I had planned on taking a shower and was in there, and I was in the bathroom, and I'm looking around for towels, and I knew I had 3 hand towels, and I found the bath mat, but I went looking above the toilet, on the counter, in the cubbies, under the counter. I opened the shower, seeing if there was anything there. Couldn't find anything, so I ended up just taking like a sponge bath while I was there. Then ended up discovering, after I was speaking with one of the people that came up with us, that the towels were in the shower, but way up high. Now, I'm very short. I'm 5 foot, if I even make it to 5 foot. I could actually walk under the shower, the towel rack in the shower, which means it was above 5 foot. So with my limited vision and not knowing where it was, that was horrible. And all of our party had problems with that, who were had sight loss. None of us could find the towels. And so that was just a huge struggle. So I'm going to end this with a couple things I wish I would have brought. Now these are just personal things that I wish I would have brought, and things that I regret bringing, and we'll go from there. So the one thing I did not know, but I do regret bringing because it was just one more thing I had to carry, was my laptop. I thought I'd be using it for connecting in to the Zoom rooms for the different things in the convention. Unfortunately, the internet was having problems. It was unsecured. My laptop had issues, so I had to connect into anything on my cell phone. I don't know if I end up going to a convention again that is hybrid like this, and I think I'm going to need to watch things in my room. I might end up bringing my extra old cell phone so that I'm not wasting the battery on my good cell phone, and I have an extra thing. I don't know. It was an inconvenience, and it was just more things that I didn't need to bring. A couple things that I wish I would have brought was a dog bone. Bali's not a bone chewer, so it totally spaced my mind to bring her one when we were only going to be gone for 2 days, but I think she was dealing with some stress of the convention and being around the other guide dogs that were there. It's normal, and I just wish I would have brought the bone so that if she needed it, she could have had it. They're not very big. I just wish I would have brought it. One of the last things I really wish I would have brought was high value. I wish I would have brought high value for Bali. She struggled going to the bathroom, like I said earlier, and I just wish I would have brought the high value to use as she went to the bathroom. I think it would have helped a lot. She's highly food motivated. And she loves these high value rewards. So I really wish I would have brought those with me. And one thing on a personal note that I wish I would have brought for me personally was my eye drops. They are a no preservative eye wash. On Saturday, I woke up with a headache. It did slowly form into a migraine by the end of the day. My eyes were irritated. My head hurt. I just wish I would have brought them because the lights were bothering me, and there was a smell in the air, and I'm sure there was dust in the air because they were moving air so much, and the difference in temperatures. So I just wish I would have brought those. They're not very big and they are really portable, so I don't know why I didn't think about it, but they are on my list for the next time I go to a convention like this, or I go out of town for a day or so, is to bring them. You just never know, and it's not like they're super big. So that is my convention recap. I did take a bunch of like blog entries throughout the convention, talking about everything. I didn't decide to do it that way, although that was my intention. It just got super long, and I knew that video would be extremely long, so I didn't want to do that. But I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe sometime I will take you on a convention like that where I can actually show things. And if it's long enough, we can do it in sections and show all of the highlights. But I am going to conclude this video here, and make sure you check back in on December 17th for the next video.